Mike, let's talk college basketball. The Final Four is in. The one matchup, Kentucky-Louisville. Heard on the radio, man is trying to get tickets for Kentucky, and he's willing to sacrifice his wife, who speaks. She'll be able to have you speak 4 languages, supposedly. Portuguese being one of them. But yeah, I tell you, but they are. I mean, they take the basketball very serious in Kentucky. Heck of a matchup. I'm going to talk a little bit about the matchups. My bracket is completely. It's a joke.
A joke.
If I could have got UNC in there, I think Kendall Marshall should have played with one hand. But if I could have got UNC, I would have had 3 of the 4 in there. You're doing a lot better than.
Well, I do have 3 of the 4. The one I don't have is Louisville, and you know, a lot has been made this week.
Louisville looked like crap in the Big East tournament.
That's kind of where I'm going with this. A lot has been made about. Oh, there's no Cinderella. It's all the big powerhouses. Well, that's if you focus too much on the name on the front of the uniform. Louisville has come a long way in the last 6 weeks, and they are a legitimate underdog, and certainly an underdog against Kentucky, who, according to everybody, including me, seems to be playing the best basketball of anybody and seems to be the most upset-proof team in this field from the beginning, and I think that's still the case, and I think they're a clear favorite.
You know, I don't want to like them because their coach he recruits these guys and they're 1 year and done, and I just don't like that system. It's funny that their 3 freshmen start. One of them was ranked number 1 in the country last year in high school and college, number 3 and number 5, and they are a very athletic team. They do play good defense.
Yeah, they do. They do, and they play together very well. They obviously guys have been willing to give up shots and points in order to be a team. They play hard. I mean, I like their team a lot. You're going to hear so much this week about the history that John Calipari has with Rick Pitino and the history that John Calipari has, period, where the last 2 teams that he took to the Final Four had to vacate because of NCAA issues. So I mean, there's going to be a lot of that kind of stuff about the sort of the nature of this sport and the whole one-and-done thing and these coaches that have taken advantage of that. But I think push all that aside. Again, let's not get too carried away with the names on the jerseys. 2 really good basketball games, I think. I think Kentucky is a clear favorite, but Ohio State and Kansas should be a lot of fun.
Well, let's talk about that matchup. That's 2 traditional power, especially with Kansas, the tradition there.
Sure.
Ohio State, some of their guys you thought were going to go pro last year, they came back, Solinger being one of them. They're playing pretty darn well. As a lot of people thought. I had them in the Final Four, and the one that we did with Gordy Jones. Who do you like in this matchup?
I like Ohio State a little. I think Ohio State, to me, is not so much a stockpile of talent, but 5 guys in pretty specific roles. They have the low post scorer. They have bigs down low that are like rebounders. They have shooters. They have a point guard who is a very solid guy. I think it's a lot of pieces that fit pretty well together, in addition to being, obviously very talented. I think Kansas kind of beat the odds a little bit to get there. I think Bill Self has done a wonderful job with his team. Individual players who have really improved over where they were a year ago. And seeing the Robinson kid for Kansas go head-to-head with Sullinger to the extent that they will go head-to-head should be a lot of fun. Now, Kansas did a triangle 2 against North Carolina. They did some junk defense stuff, and maybe we'll see some of that against Sullinger.
They may. I think if Kendall Marshall would have played for UNC, just like if Kendall Marshall plays against Ohio in the round of 16, that's not even a close game. That one was close. Just like I think if they play against Kansas and they had their point guard in there, they beat Kansas.
It's possible that they would.
But I was impressed. I was impressed with the athletics, and I think Kansas has really relished this underdog role, and it could come into play here because Ohio State will be favored in this game. Kansas all year long has been the favorite. They won their conference again, and I think, if anything, this is the best role for them to sort of slide in under the radar, and they could surprise some people.
Yeah, so the theme here is if you kind of ignore the name on the jersey a little bit, there are underdogs here. This is not quite the way the media is going to sell you something that I think is a little deceptive here.